an easy care guide to growing lucky bamboo plants. With thousands of bamboo species that can be grown indoors, one of the most popular choices for plant lovers is actually a water lily. Lucky bamboo is a beginner-friendly bamboo plant that thrives in an indoor environment. All it requires is some tender, loving care, like regular watering, indirect sunlight, and added nutrients. In this guide, we'll teach you everything there is to know about lucky bamboo. Plus, we interviewed plant specialists Ryan Glynn and Lindsay M. Sweat on soil types, watering, and pruning frequency. Indoor lucky bamboo plant care. 1. Water the bamboo once the top few centimeters of soil is dry, and drain excess water. 2. Maintain a humid environment of 65–90 degrees Fahrenheit, 18–32 degrees Celsius, with a humidity tray. 3. Swap out the water every week to prevent algae growth. 4. Give your plant an extra boost by applying liquid fertilizers every 6 to 8 weeks. 5. Repot or divide the bamboo once the root ball outgrows its container. Caring for indoor lucky bamboo plants. 1. Water the lucky bamboo only and the top few centimeters are dry. Bamboo is thirsty and vulnerable to overwatering, so finding the perfect balance is crucial. Water thoroughly once the top few centimeters are dry. Use your finger to inspect the soil. Reduce watering in the winter. Alternatively, wait for the top 2 to 3 in 5.1 to 7.6 centimeters of soil to dry out before each watering session. If the soil stays moist for over a day, reduce the water. There should be enough water to run out of the pot space. If the top of the soil dries out too quickly, dig down to 4 and 10 centimeters deep to check for moisture. This depth should stay lightly moist, especially during the first 3 months after planting. Lucky bamboo is not a traditional bamboo plant. It's actually a type of tropical water lily called Dracaena sanderiana. 2. Maintain a humid environment between 65–90 degrees Fahrenheit, 18–32 degrees Celsius. Most varieties of bamboo plants prefer humid air, especially in hot water. To create humidity in your home, place a pot over a humidity tray, lightly mist the leaves with a spray bottle every few days, run a humidifier, or keep plants close together. 4. If you're placing plants close together, be aware this may increase disease risk. 3. Place the bamboo in an area with indirect sunlight to keep the leaves green. With over 1,400 species of bamboo in the world, each type has different light requirements. For lucky bamboo, though, the plant does best in moderate levels of indirect sunlight. Direct exposure can be too strong for the leaves, causing it to warp and turn brown. Your plant needs more light than your climate provides. Install evening growing lights. If the stalks turn white, the plant is distressed and requires a shady environment. Popular indoor bamboo species include lucky bamboo, silver stripe, kamei, yellow groove, ko, and viridis. If you don't know the species, start with these rules of thumb. 4. Add a drop of fertilizer every 6 to 8 weeks. Fortunately, many bamboo species don't require a constant diet of fertilizer. In fact, if you're growing bamboo in water, it gets all the nutrients it needs from the nitrogen in the water. But if you want to give your plant a little extra boost, opt for a balanced liquid or a bamboo-specific fertilizer with an NPK ratio of 10 hours 10 minutes and 10 seconds or 20 hours 20 minutes and 20 seconds. NPK stands for nitrogen N, phosphorus P, and potassium K. Skip fertilizing within the first 6 months of purchasing your bamboo. Most plants get enough fertilizer from the nursery. Avoid seaweed-based fertilizers due to their excessive salt content. 5. Prune the stems regularly during any season. Most bamboo plants tolerate pruning, so don't hesitate to shape it once it's established or healthy. Cut just above a no if you're pruning to reduce height. Cut as close to the soil if you're thinning dead, stunted, or old stems. Make the cut straight across with sterilized shears. 6. Repot or divide the bamboo when it outgrows its container. Plant specialist Lindsay M. Sweat suggests for bamboo growing in soil, ensure the roots have enough space. Once they reach the maximum growing point, increase the pot size to accommodate the roots in the spring. To split dense clumps, use a mattock, axe, or saw and carefully lift the plant, shaking off the excess soil. Then, Break the root mass into 2 sections. Pull the roots apart gently until you have separate plants. To restrict growth, dig up the plant, cut away about 1/3 of the roots, and replant in the same container with fresh potting mix. Bamboo can grow in 2 different patterns depending on the species. Runners send out long shoots to start new plants and will spiral around a large container within 3 to 5 years. Clumpers grow steadily outward and may last up to 6 years in the same pot. Propagating a lucky bamboo. 1. Take a cutting from an established plant to propagate bamboo. Select a lucky bamboo that is at least 1 to 2 years old and free of disease to take a cutting from. Use sterilized, sharp cutting shears to cut from the main stalk. Cut just below a node, where its leaves or side shoots sprout. Each cutting should contain 3 to 4 intact nodes to ensure new roots and shoots. Remove the bottommost pair of leaves from the cutting to conserve energy for root establishment. Ryan Glenn recommends having at least 5 to 6 in 13 to 15 centimeters worth of a healthy stalk. These will easily propagate once plopped into the water. 17. If you're growing a hardier bamboo, propagate during March or April, May or early June for tropical varieties. 2. Transfer the cutting into a container with water to encourage growth. With the bottom leaves removed, quickly place the cutting into a vase or water-filled bucket. Submerge the bottom portion of the stem so it can propagate. It takes up to 30 days for roots to appear. Once they do, plant the cutting into soil or water. Propagation may not work on bamboo with no hole or tiny holes in the center of the stalk. You can also dip the cut end of the stalk in colored melted wax to seal the cut and discourage disease entry before placing it in water. Growing bamboo in soil indoors. 1. Select a pot twice the root ball's diameter to give it space to grow. Opt for a wide, squat pot so the bamboo roots have plenty of space to grow. Choose a container twice the diameter of the root ball, or with at least 2 and 5.1 centimeters of space between the root ball and the pot's walls. Similarly, good drainage is key to the survival of most bamboo species, so ensure there are sizable holes in the pot space. Line the container with a plastic root barrier if the pot is cement, which can damage the bamboo, or wood, which lasts longer if protected from moisture. 2. Use a humidity tray to add moisture to the air. Lucky bamboo loves humidity, which can make indoor growing a challenge. Keeping water under the bamboo without letting it soak the roots is the easiest way to add moisture to the air. There are 2 ways to set this up. 3. Opt for a fast-draining potting soil with a pH level of 6.0 to 6.5. Bamboo needs light to moderate density soil, well-draining but able to hold moisture. You can use a standard potting mix or make your own from 1/3 loam, 1/3 perlite or wash sand, and 1/3 peat moss or well-rotted compost. You can use decent quality soil from your garden instead of potting soil. Avoid heavy clay soil, which drains poorly and is difficult to improve. Bamboo tends to do best in slightly acidic soil, with a pH between 6.0 and 6.5, but most species tolerate a pH up to 7.5. Most soil falls into this range. Fill the container with the soil, placing the bamboo at a shallow depth. Keep the stem and the top of the root ball slightly lower than the container, so it has 1 in 2.5 centimeters of soil covering the surface. This helps prevent rot. Press the soil down to remove air bubbles, and water the plant with a good soak. Add a layer of mulch or compost to trap the moisture. If your bamboo came root-bound, cut it out at the edge of the pot with a clean knife. It's probably had trouble getting water, so soak the root ball but not the stem for 20 minutes before planting. Growing bamboo in lucky water indoors. 1. Place the stem inside a container with pebbles to anchor it. Bamboo can be grown hydroponically, meaning it can grow in water. Grab your stalk and place it inside a clear or opaque tall container. Carefully add a layer of pebbles to stabilize the stems and hold them in place. 2. Fill the container with distilled or filtered water. The minerals in hard tap water can cause the tips of the bamboo plant's leaves to burn and turn brown. 28. So, Plant specialist Lindsay M. recommends using distilled or filtered water if your water supply contains fluoride or chlorine. You can also let water sit for 24 hours to eliminate most of the chlorine. 3. Change the water every 7 to 10 days to keep the bamboo healthy. When growing in water, bamboo can be prone to algae. To avoid this issue, opt for a colored or opaque container and regularly flush out the water. Sweat reminds gardeners, depending on where you live, you might have higher quality or more mineral-heavy water, so flush the water fairly regularly. Troubleshooting common problems. 1. Bamboo may lose leaves after being moved indoors or transplanted. Wilted or falling leaves indicate your bamboo is unhappy with the temperature, either too hot or too cold. This is especially prevalent after moving the plant from outside to indoors or when it's first transplanted. Stabilize its climate by keeping it away from draft windows or direct sunlight. Temperate species often drop leaves during low-light conditions. A cool, low-light dormant period in winter is good for these plants and reduces leaf drop. The fewer green leaves there are, the less water the plant needs. Many species drop leaves in spring or, less commonly, fall, gradually replacing them with new ones. The plant is probably fine if there's a mix of green, yellow, and new, unfurling leaves. 2. Add distilled or filtered water if the leaves turn yellow or brown. If your leaves are changing color and you're using tap water, that's often an indication there's too much chlorine in your water supply. Opt for distilled or filtered water, or let a glass of tap water sit overnight so the chlorine can evaporate. 3. Add more fertilizer if the leaves are pale and yellow. It's common for leaves to turn yellow during a bamboo's dormant season, winter. However, outside of its dormant season, plant specialist Lindsay M. Sweat says, leaves that slowly become paler and more yellow usually have a nutrient deficiency. Add fertilizer with added minerals. A sudden color change after fertilizing points to over-fertilizing. Treat this problem by removing any remaining fertilizer and watering abundantly to leach out the excess minerals. Four. Use an insecticide or other commercial sprays for insect infestations. Indoor bamboo plants are more vulnerable to these problems, especially if the room has low airflow. If there is a light insect infestation, wash the leaves with insecticidal soap, or spray it outdoors with an insecticide spray. If this doesn't work, or if you think the plant has a disease, try to identify it and respond. A black sooty mold is usually caused by insects. Remove aphids and ants. Circular fungus rings, or gray, brown scales usually do not harm the plant. An anti-fungus treatment from a garden store can remove it. Wet, rotting patches are a sign of overwatering or infestations. Dry them out and treat them with insecticide or fungicide. Sticky white webbing may hide bamboo mites or other insects. Spray it off and apply insecticide. There are over 1,400 species of bamboo, so no one guide will cover all problems. If your plant has a disease that doesn't match the description above, consult a local garden center or university agricultural extension about diseases in your area. Symbolism of lucky bamboo stalks. In Chinese culture, lucky bamboo symbolizes good fortune. For centuries, bamboo is believed to transform lives, especially if you're caring for lucky bamboo. When placed in a home, or often, bamboo is said to result in good fortune and prosperity in all areas of life. However, the number of stalks grants different meanings. 1 stalk, truth or commitment. 37. 2 stalks, love or double luck. 3 stalks, happiness, long life, and wealth. 4 stalks, bad luck. 5 stalks, balance of emotional, spiritual, mental, intuitive, and physical health. 6 stalks, prosperity and wealth. 7 stalks, good health. 8 stalks, success, growth, and fertility. 9 stalks, great lucky. 10 stalks, complete and perfect life. 21 stalks, great wealth and enduring health.